H45.CLUB members, it is Nutrition Talk Monday. On Monday, we speak towards nutrition. How do we get our power back in nutrition? Now, we've talked about this before, but we are going to zero it in so that we just have the bullets, the bullet points to remember each week as we're meal prepping, each meal where we're choosing food, each hunger pain that comes in between meals, what to do about it. You guys know, going hungry, what does that do? Number one concept right there, it's going to slow your metabolism down. Reaching our weight loss goal does not mean going hungry. It does not mean being miserable. It does not mean eating too few of calories and increasing our exercise and activity level well beyond it. It is a balance in which we allow the body to not endure too high of amounts of stress. What do I mean by this? So here at H45.CLUB, even when you're on a challenge, you and I should have already discussed, we do not eat under our BMR of number of calories per day on a regular basis. Doing so will stress the body out. What happens when we stress the body out in this way? If you are committing and doing your workouts each week, and I would say 4 or more workouts a week, if you're eating under your BMR on a regular daily basis, what's going to happen is your body's going to want to protect your hormones and everything else, and it's going to want to do a better job of holding on to fat because that's what sustains your energy, right? We know this. And so what we want to have happen instead is have you consume the right amount of calories that we have set for you and your body based on your weight, your height, your age, your gender, and activity level. Then, if you have worked with Coach Stacy, which you have if you're here and you're an H45.CLUB member, especially if you were on a challenge, been through a challenge, or in our Momentum or Max program. If you were only in the Build Your Base program, then you likely have not ever encountered this information. If you are ready to get your power back and get results more quickly, I would highly suggest you go through the next challenge so you can also learn how to get your body working for you, because the game changer is in nutrition. But today I wanted to specifically bullet point combinations of food. And I say this directly, but also carefully. We have multiple mindsets surrounding food and exercise, and that is extremely common because of the nature of how we live in our communities and our families, growing up, our childhood. Food can be quite amazing, and so can activity, because most of the time those we care about are doing both of those things with us, or perhaps we've endured some of those things and struggles within those things even alone. Everyone's dynamic is different. So what I am not asking you to do is to dial in so hard that it becomes obsessive, anxiety, controlling of you instead of you of it. If those things arise, please speak up right away. That is absolutely why we are doing exercise, nutrition, and mindset. We are not going to thrive in our fit journey or our fit destination when you actually conquer your first big goal if the mindset is not ready to level up with it. Okay? I want to teach you how to achieve these things the right way, sustainably, so that they last, and so that you actually know when is your body responding. This is an amazing feeling that I would think everybody deserves to have. So remember, if anything pops up to where you start having anxiety, you can't sleep at night over it, you're drilling in so much that it's controlling you and not you over it, there's something going wrong. That means there is a red flag going off, that there's some kind of trigger emotionally or based on information previously received that you and I should talk about and just address it. It's not going to be new to me. It's something I've likely encountered before. There's never any judgment. In fact, I understand Life's dynamic, and I understand how these things occur. What we're going to do is strengthen you through it, okay? The idea of H45 Velocity Coaching is that we are building an unwavering base in you of strength, in activity, in your body physically, in your mind mentally and emotionally, okay? So if we do this right together, you will truly get your power back. It's not just a slogan. That slogan was inspired by you all, but also in the way that I, Coach Stacy, coach. It's the heart and passion behind why I do fitness. Okay, I won't go any further on that. I'm very passionate about it, and I wanted to get you quick information, okay? So today, combinations of foods that I just want you to look for at the very basic level. I'm going to keep it simple for a reason, okay? Because that's doable, right? That is so doable. It's not about doing a specific diet. The calories guide us so that we can, yes, of course, be in deficit with our activity level in calories consumed. If you're constantly receiving more calories than you're ever expending, we're going to gain weight. That's just how it kind of works. It's math. It's metabolism. Metabolism is actually just energy transfer. So before you let that word calorie get you all upset, just think of it for what it is. Put it in its place. It's energy transfer, which is heat transfer. Okay. It's just a unit of measure. Now, I will tell you, to help you also get your power back, that looking at the scale to understand weight loss occurred years and years ago when things like a smart scale was not available. It used to be extremely expensive to get any other body stat information. Well, that is just not true anymore. We have technology working for us in so many ways, and it's powerful. You know why? Because it allows you and me, your coach, to see what's happening inside that body based on how you're eating, how many calories, your activity level, how much activity are you getting, mindset, stress, are you getting rest and sleep? Are you staying hydrated? There's so many components that really help you have your body just work optimally because it's kind of its language. And when you start to do those basics well, that's when you see your body perform. It's quite amazing. Okay. Now, yes, everybody's body's different. So here's what I want you to identify currently. If you are not losing weight at least 2 pounds per week on average, and you're like, Coach Stacy, how do I speed up my results? How do I see the inches fall off? How do I start seeing my muscle tone that I feel that's there because I can feel it? How do I get it to show more than the fat that I still have on my body that I don't want to have there? Okay, so what I need you to do is realize that there are certain combinations of foods that might be heavier. And so while they may be very nutrient dense, they may make you very, very healthy. If you are getting frustrated with how quickly you're losing weight, we can get strategic with how we eat these combinations of food. If you are having a high fat, high carb meal, that's fine. Guess what? You've just consumed something that's packed with energy that you can use in your next workout. So you know, okay, I had a heavy meal because I know that my body is going to use those carbs up because it's easier for my body to use carbs than it is to pull energy from fat, stored fat, or even if you just consumed it. In fact, you usually don't want to consume healthy fats right before a workout. It just usually doesn't go as well with the body. And if you do eat before a workout, also you really want to do it about 2 hours before. You're still digesting it, and you will have energy from it. And if you eat too close to a workout, that can also sometimes, your body can't digest food and get blood flow to your muscles to work out at the same time. So it will stall digestion, which you usually can get it back working just by drinking water, of course, after your workout. But if you feel you need something going into a workout, number one, maybe journal what foods your body and stomach and digestion do well with, especially if you compete in anything like a sport or you run or like 5K, stuff like that. Knowing those things is really important, but do something lighter, like maybe a fruit like an apple or dried cherries, something that gives you maybe some little healthy natural sugars, not simple sugar. So this would be fructose from fruit, a natural sugar, because sometimes that can help regulate blood sugar levels for those who struggle on that, and also give you a little energy. However, I told you I would keep this very surface level. Each of you have different goals, okay? Each of you have different lifestyle habits as well. And you and I really need to talk specifically about that. I don't often have a lot of people add in a lot of fruits because we also have a segment of you where we are trying to train your body to recruit energy when you're working out from your stored fat. Okay? And the reason we want this is because it's long burning and it will help you burn it, right? It's also going to release some toxins and things like that. But we can do things like staying hydrated and flush your system so that we know that you're detoxing that properly. And there's some products with ID Life too that can assist with that. But also what we're looking for is usually protein and carbs are a very good combo. So we're talking about friends of food. You're not like your friends, like what foods are friendly to each other for your weight loss goals, okay? And are still very nutritious and healthy. So it's not going to compromise your health. It's not going to compromise your body's ability to make progress, right? It's going to support it. And we know that not all calories are equal. So there's good calories and bad calories. What does that mean? Well, it's not good or bad, right? It's useful or useless in providing nutrition for your body. And we want foods that give you useful nutrients because that's what helps your body perform. If you want your body to perform, you've got to support it, because when it's under stress because it doesn't have what it needs, that's when it freaks out on you, right? It does. Dynamically speaking, that surface level, dynamically speaking, that's what's occurring. So, protein, good quality proteins, lean proteins, and if they are fried or something, they better be cooked in some healthy fats. And you do not have to fry something. There's a method called sautéing where you just have light olive oil, light avocado oil, light coconut oil, which those are MUFAs. Those are the healthiest oils you should be using. Guys, I'll get into this later, but not everybody's body processes fats well. And if you do, you need quality fats, not the synthetic oils. Because a lot of the synthetic oils can cause inflammation in the body, whether your body does well detoxing it or not. Okay, so here's what we're going to look at to get our power back. If you have a lot of heavy meals, high in fat, high in carbs, so like say you did a lasagna with lots of cheese, and then for breakfast you had sausage, eggs, and cheese, and then at dinner you also had French baguette with fried chicken on it with lots of cheese on top. But you added some lettuce in there. And then here's the thing. We're looking at this, right? We got chicken. I mean, that ain't too bad, except that it was fried. And you had cheese there. And then you had a carb that was just an enriched white bread. Okay, so no big nutrients there. And then you had a lunch that was a carb and heavy because it had cheese. Cheese is heavy. So it's not that you have to avoid cheese. It's just I wouldn't do it at every meal, if that makes sense. And that lasagna was also sausage instead of a lean beef. So you got a heavier meat there. Nothing wrong with that. Your body knows what to do with a healthy fat from animals, okay? It knows how to process it just fine. But then for breakfast, you also had eggs and cheese and sausage. So you had protein, right? I mean, eggs, cheese, sausage, those all have protein. But if you have 3 meals a day, all having those carbs and fats, maybe you even had a tortilla because you made it like a breakfast burrito, right? Those are heavy. That's too heavy. So whether it's healthy, whether your body can handle it or not, those calories are so heavy, you have set yourself up to run the best football game you've ever ran before in your life. You're going to have so much energy, you're probably going to win the game, okay? But if you're trying to lose weight and that's your game, we can't do that at every meal. But what if you had those 3 meals, but instead of doing them all in one day, 3 days in a row, what if you only did those meals like every other day, or only one of those meals per that day, and then you had other choices for meals that day? Does that make sense? So what if instead of doing that lasagna at lunchtime, what if you had a really deep nutrient salad? Like we're talking green spinach. We're talking like maybe you chose to do a slice of pear or dried cranberry with a almond or pecan and maybe some light goat cheese, not a lot, and then you had a vinaigrette dressing and then some grilled chicken on it. Good. It's very sustaining, and that probably would sustain you because you would have 2 sources at least of protein, not including the protein from the veggies. And so like you could load that salad up to actually have layers of protein nutrients that would carry your energy and your body through it and heal. Deep dark nutrients are anti-inflammatory to the body. There's no unhealthy oils in there that would cause excess inflammation. Your body would respond pretty well to it, okay? And then Then maybe for breakfast, maybe you did the eggs and sausage, but you didn't add the tortilla, and maybe you didn't even add the cheese. Maybe you just added salsa instead, so you still had this huge pop of flavor. And maybe you even added a little bit of avocado, which is a healthy fat, but it's you didn't do a whole one. Maybe you only did like, I don't know, 1/3, some slices of it there, okay? And then perhaps you did some like lemon water with it. So you had some citrus in there. So you knew your body was going to really absorb the nutrients from that breakfast. Oh, and then you remembered Coach Stacy loves you eating greens because that's packed with amino acids. It's a superfood. So you added spinach, and you actually added spinach to those eggs and sausage and salsa and that avocado. But you really leveled up your game because you're getting some variety of nutrients in there. And that's amazing. And then for dinner, you know what? Maybe you decided to cut out the useless carb. Maybe you just made this really amazing like protein, dried fruit, something and you didn't use mayo. Maybe you used like this balsamic vinegar drizzled over it or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you know what? Maybe you couldn't control dinner, but you had the dinner. But since you chose to look for opportunities to level up your lunch and your breakfast, that dinner is not going to be as hard because not hard. Hard's probably not a good choice of words to articulate here, but you're not in that situation where every meal was heavy that day. So during the hours in between those meals, you had time to digest, use it, store what you needed, and then you got your workout in because you committed to that and you made sure it happened, and you went into your H45 Club Connect and you marked that you conquered your workout today with Coach Stacy. You really leveled up and it boosted your metabolism. And I mean, heck, even before you were able to have dinner, you started to feel hungry. And you remembered that Coach Stacy said that was a sign that your metabolism was working for you based on all your intent and effort. And so instead of ignoring it, you actually just grabbed this 100 calories of like, I don't know, maybe you grabbed like an RX bar or maybe you had some one of those peanut butter packets or something. You grabbed that. You grabbed protein because you knew it had nutrients and there was nothing heavy necessarily carb-wise or fat-wise beyond the peanut butter. Well, okay, that was a bad way to articulate that because peanut butter is very heavy in carbs and fats and protein. But if you're the packets that I was thinking about, a lot of healthy athletes run to because they just fit in your pocket and they don't get old very quickly and they're on the go. They're at a proportion that's pretty minimal. So it wouldn't be excessive. That's why I was picturing that. But anyways, you can do anything. You could do a slice of lean chicken. You could do a little yogurt or whatever. Okay. This is how we get our power back. This is how we say metabolism. I'm not starving. I'm not going hungry. You do not need to hold on to fat. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of healthy protein. We're going to keep that metabolism boosted up. I'm going to be ready for dinner when that is prepared and going. And then I shouldn't even need to eat after that because we don't eat after 8 p.m. at night. If you are hungry before bed, you're going to grab a healthy protein again of some type, okay? The only last thing I would note today is I wanted to recap that protein and carbs together is usually a decent combo. Most of you know this, but I will say it as a reminder, just like everything else today, because we're learning and we need to hear this often. Even I do. I need to talk about it as well so I remember it. And there's always constant learning. There's always additional learning, even on my part. So when we do carbs, even when I'm setting your macros on how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat you should be having, guys, I set your protein based on your activity level. I set your fat based on a pretty common level for almost everyone because I don't put you on a diet. We look for nutrients, right? And I don't put people on keto diet because not everybody does well with it. Not everybody processes fats properly. So I set it at a rate that's known to be successful and healthy. And then guess what I do with your carbs? I have to back into them. I don't know if everybody does this strategy, but I do. And I don't even know, there's 2 formulas that most people use to assume how many carbohydrates you should have in your macros. I still to this day I back into it. And here's why. Because I promise you guys, I share my information as I know it with you, and I will try to cut through the industry nonsense. There's so much confusion out there because of marketing and this and that. But here is the thing. I love the great country of America. I've lived here my entire life. And I also am friends with some functional medicine doctors that will tell you the same thing. So if you don't believe me or anything, but the carbs here in America are not always great. You can Google it, you can look up your own factual basis information, journal articles or whatever, but there are other countries that do not allow certain chemicals to be put in their foods that we find acceptable and allow here in America. Those things can be toxic to our system. They're chemicals that are harsh on our body, that our liver has to somehow filter and detox, that absolutely directly influence metabolism, because your liver and the health of your liver absolutely influences metabolism. Remember we talked about stress in the body? So we've got to respect what the body needs. And the reason I back into carbs is because I have found that whether somebody has a very healthy diet or a very lackluster or unhealthy diet, most people have consumed too many crappy carbs. And because they've excessively consumed it at one point of their life or another, they have become a little sensitive to the carbs that are available, even the healthy ones sometimes. Okay? So you could take wheat bread and give it to me, and I will tell you my body doesn't really like it. And in fact, if I eat it, it's the surest way I can actually add weight to my body. And it can be 100% wheat bread. Well, that wheat grown here in America, my body doesn't care for it. Okay? And if your body is sensitive to wheat as well, then we got to look for alternatives. And it's not just the carb light breads, okay? Although there are some that have done a really good job of getting you some nutrition in the breads. So like I find that if I combine them with a seed, like pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, things like that, my body absorbs it way much better, especially if I combine it with like a protein, like a nut. And I do a lot of Killer Dave's bread because of the addition of the seeds and the nuts and the protein. My body responds better to it. I also am very careful on what carbs I eat. So it's not about eliminating carbs. Your body absolutely needs carbs, okay? But you're getting a lot of carbs, which we call net carbs, from vegetables you eat. So you need to be eating a variety of vegetables every day. If you don't like a lot of vegetables, I would say start where you're at and challenge yourself that you just don't like the way they have been prepared to date. Have you ever seen an artistic chef online create meals that look like art on a plate? They use vegetables a lot. They use a lot of fresh ingredients. And I have tasted a lot of their dishes and they are freaking amazing. Why? Because they know how to prepare it well and they have good technique. Okay, so challenge yourself on maybe we just don't like the way it was prepared. Let's venture out and try new things and let's try to prepare them differently and see if we do like them. Start where you're at with what you've got, with what you're comfortable with. And then as you start to eat cleaner, your body's going to start telling you what nutrients it likes because it knows what makes it feel better. So instead of craving the bad stuff just to get by, because there's usually a nutritional deficiency, so we choose something horrible to eat, it's going to start craving vegetables and stuff that you've never craved before because it says, oh my gosh, that made me feel better last time I ate it. And you're going to surprise yourself when you actually find yourself craving something you've never craved before when it's something like a vegetable or something like that. Okay? And so we're looking for combinations. Protein and carbs is okay, but on the carbs, I need you to choose complex as possible. What does complex carb mean? That it has as much nutrients as possible. Like I choose quinoa over rice because there's more nutrients in quinoa. And instead of cooking it in water, I cook it in stock because there's more protein in stock. If I don't have stock on hand because it's more expensive, then I go for broth. Or, you know what we do on a Saturday? We get a big old pan out. We put some protein in there, like a big old chicken carcass or something, and break it up and blah, blah, blah. Take the meat off, add some eggshells in, make your own stock. You just let it simmer really, really slow all day and you can make your own stock. It's really easy. That's hardly even considered cooking. You just got to keep an eye on it, set a timer, and check it every once in a while. Okay? So, anyways, I hope this has helped a lot. So, carbs and protein, good combos. And then fats and carbs is heavier. It's going to be harder to burn. Okay? So, we can't do that at every meal. That's the basis of the information I wanted to share today to help you get your power back on nutrition while you're adopting this challenge and getting those results. The last comment I will suggest and throw out there, if you already know that you have a known sensitivity or allergy to a food, like lactose, like the sugars from milk or something like that, don't eat them. If you're allergic to a nut, don't eat it. If you're sensitive to, Carbs, well, you got to get them as complex as possible then. You need to start eliminating those things that irritate your system, because I will guarantee you, if you are consuming foods on a regular basis that you are sensitive to, it causes stress to your metabolism, and it can, and I'm almost 100% positive it does interfere with you reaching your goals and results in a challenge. I've seen it happen. Last comment, do not drink your calories. It is absolutely okay to do protein shakes, and it's also absolutely to add protein shakes as meal replacements, especially if you do not cook, travel a lot, and you need nutrition. Because we just talked about, we don't allow our body to go hungry, it needs nutrients. I will tell you, if you're going to those protein shops on every corner right now, they are not all created equally. The owners do not all run their business the same. I know because I've known some of them. And I know that some of them will replace what they say when they say they're using honey, they could be using just white chemically processed sugar. So you don't always know what you're getting. If your protein shake sounds like a dessert, it probably is. Then that means it's equivalent to a treat. It's just a healthier version of a treat, okay? So instead of going out and having a horrible treat and you're craving something like sugar, you choose to go over there for a treat. Yeah, okay. But that wouldn't, if it sounds like a dessert, that cannot be a meal replacement every 3 meals or continually every day, because I've also seen that in other past challenges, and it will impact getting to your results more quickly. And so unless you just love working out with Coach Stacy, which I appreciate because I love working out with you too, we're trying to get you results so that you stay highly motivated and are encouraged by your efforts, okay? So I'm giving you these tips not to be mean or take all the fun out, but to help you see those results more quickly. Guys, go be healthy, go be strong, go be well. I hope this nutrition facts today was just what you needed to get your power back in nutrition so that we can speed up those results that you so deeply desire and are earning with your efforts daily. Coach Stacy signing out, H45.CLUB.